This is Drama King, my first video. Yes, this is the Bahamas, and this video is about me complaining. I'm going to complain now. Essentially, here's what's happening. I want what's mine. I want my piece of the rock in the sun. And I say piece of the rock in the sun because I hate this country for one thing. Not the crime, not the some other bits I hate, but mainly it's because of the heat. I hate the heat. I despise the heat, but that's another story entirely. Um, Here's the problem. I want what's mine. Our government is self-gifting themselves hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. The previous government, Brent Simonet, basically self-gifted himself more than all governments combined, I'm quite sure. And he got the $70+ million from the roadworks, and he made probably he got shares in cable and wireless when they purchased BTC. That's the only reason why a company that didn't have their proposal on the board suddenly gets in and gets the contract or gets the to buy the company. And for $200 million, a multi-billion dollar company, they sell for $200 million. Clearly, let's not fool ourselves. Clearly, there was something happening behind the scenes. I'm not angry with Brent Simonet. I'm not angry that his father self-gifted himself the entire Bahamas, taking properties and probably defining how much a property would cost and then giving himself that property or only, allowing himself to, however he did it. This is a country of piracy. We're all pirates at heart, pirates. But this old pirate basically wants his. Drama King is a pirate, and he wants what is his. I am a pirate. My government is pirates. This isn't a democracy. This is a totalitarian piracy society, piracy-based society. Those so-called Christians, they're pirates. They're swindling and they're lying to people. They're fabulous in that regard. They're snake oil salesmen. Neil Ellis is perhaps chief among them. No one reads the Bible. The Bible is supposed to be the first and only authority, but no one reads the Bible. They tend to want to say, oh, we have God, and we believe in God, and we do what God says. But in actuality, they are simply swindlers, fabulous. And they say sensationalism, and then they jump up and down and say you're robbing God. And then the sheeple, the foolish masses who vote in party after party and allow themselves to be slaves to these ones, follow it. Bohemians are followers, essentially. We've been followers for a very long time. And then they use Christianity to keep us under shackles and say, well, God wouldn't want that while they're having homosexual relations or fornication relations or adulterous relations or whatever the case. They use Christianity as a whip to say, oh, if you do that, then God won't approve. And truthfully, God wouldn't approve. Let's be honest here. He allowed his people to suffer under some horrendous conditions because he says, I'm allowing it. It isn't that I can't do anything about it. I'm allowing it. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the mere fact that I want what is mine. I'm a pirate. I'm a drama king. And I want mine. I'm tired of being a slave. We're a slave, a society of slaves. The United States, they claim and they tell people, if you work hard and go to work every day, you will have a piece of this. But they never get a piece of it. We mirror the United States in a lot of ways. Chief among them is the majority are the poorest and the minority are the richest. And the minority, who are the richest, pay less in tax. But the majority, who is the poorest, has to pay more. And now our government wants to institute VAT. Billions and billions of dollars in our banks and millions that are made every year by the minority are not taxed. But the majority, who are the poorest, 30,000 people I'm sure right now is unemployed. I don't care what statistics tells you. I don't care what the government tells you. And more will be employed. But they want to tax us. 8, even if it's 8%, even if it's 5%, they're using that guy, what's his name, whatever his name is, who's running VAT and who's saying, well, it works in other countries. Yeah, countries with gross domestic product is what? GDP is in the billions and trillions. Ours is a few million. But yet you want to do what? Expect that the populace, who is the poorest in the hemisphere among the poorest, to suddenly be able to pay, and you're allowing the WTO and all these other places where their member nations are in the trillions, but whatever. But that's not. I'm not even talking about VAT today. I'm going to talk about VAT, but not in this video. My problem is right now is that I'm a sickly person. My body is breaking down. It's getting worse. 2 days ago, I thought I was going to die. And then the only solution is, well, find a job and work yourself to death even some more. And then hopefully, just maybe, you'll find a way out. Well, here's my way out. Give me what I want and I will stop. Otherwise, this is a war of attrition. I'm going to meticulously and purposely be a thorn in your side. Or more accurately, a bullet in your side and a thorn in your eyeball. This is going to get dirty, people, and it has to get dirty, because Brent Simonette is rich, the Honorable Hubert Ingram is rich, the Honorable Perry Christie said in 2005 that there are some people who will not walk the line and walk down that 1,000 yards and then cross over and then come around the bend on that same line. They're going to cross the road where you are, and they're going to take place right next to you, if not ahead of you, to get what you're getting now or to take what you have from you. And that's the fact, because right now the gap is increasing. They have the favelas, I guess they call it in Brazil, where people who don't have are not allowed to go any further in life. And we're not allowed to. Billions and billions and billions of barrels of oil are in our oceans. And as the Honorable Perry Christie said some years ago, which he has said nothing of since, that there's $100,000 worth of oil for every person every year for the rest of their life in this country. But we allow foreigners to come here and say, oh, blah, blah, blah. But maybe it's all a smoke screen. Maybe the government is secretly making deals behind the scenes with the Chinese or whomever else, maybe British Petroleum, to gift themselves more of the country and more of the wealth. And this cannot be allowed. I always use that guy's name. What's his name? The guy who was a member of Parliament for Marathon, Ron Pinder. I use him as an example because he went in there poor and he came out there with hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's what I want. I want what is mine. I want my $100,000 a year from oil, or I want some type of money from somewhere's about. The government is allowed to give consultant contracts to retirees, people who have served their time and who made their money and who basically are retirees in their 60s and 70s, and giving these people $50,000 to $70,000 a year. Thousands of them they brought back, many of them driving fresh, brand new cars. And this is all on our coin, but yet they want to tax the poor. And those of us who don't have jobs, and there's like 30,000 unemployed, so I guess I doubt we'll ever get a job. But those of us who do not have a job, we're now told that we're going to have to slave, basically, to get somewhere. And then there's no jobs. So the jobs we do have, we have to work harder for less. And they want to introduce VAT. But as I said, this isn't the video for that. This video is about me wanting to get mine. Fred Mitchell is allowed to fly around the country, claim that it's for our benefit, which it isn't. But he's wasting millions of dollars. And he said in the papers, even though it has something to do also with the Cuban situation, he said in the papers between this and his other situation with him wasting money, that the Honorable Perry Christie cannot fire him. That, my friends, is where I draw the line. That's what tells me that this man is allowed to spend and waste and have, but I have to slave and kill it myself. No, my friend, I'm no longer sheeple. I'm going to be the wolf. Thank you very much. Have a good day. This is Drama King. This is my first video, and I hope it finds you in a good way. And if it doesn't, then too bad for you. Because right now, my friends, I've had enough. I'm up here with hate and anger and rage. And like Che Guevara said, by the gun, the grenade. So one way or the other, we're going to get what's ours. And I'm sorry to say this, but it isn't me. If they introduce VAT, let's just touch on VAT briefly. If they introduce VAT, here's what's going to happen. For all goods and services, there's going to be a tax added. Therefore, it's going to compound. Before they claim that bread items won't be taxed, but they will be, and I'll tell you why. If you're going to tax the guys who sell the bread for being able to do business, I'm talking about tax them on the building they're renting, tax them on the electricity they're getting, and electricity is ridiculously high because BEC doesn't check your meters. BEC estimates, so every month our light bill is $480, $500, and we don't even have anything remotely that costs as much power. And those people who do of their box checks. So who box or checks regularly, their light bills for central air and other things is like $400. That's central air, and that's washing machine and dryer and water heater. We have none of those things, and we are more. You know, this is the poor area. I live in a poor area. Therefore, this is what's happening. And they want to introduce VAT, which is going to increase our light bill from $450 regularly or $480 every month to maybe about $600 or $550. And, you know, and it doesn't just mean it's going to be thousands of others. So very shortly, a loaf of bread won't be $3.29 anymore. It's going to be somewhere up $5. A gallon of milk could probably be about $7, and a camel cream would be about $1.80. So basically, they're trying to eliminate the middle class, and their cronies and their supporters and all their millionaire friends are going to get to keep their millions. And then we're going to slide even further down a rabbit hole than Haiti did. And they think this isn't going to happen because the Bahamians are going to say, oh, but this is a Christian nation. This is a Christian nation because you say it is. It doesn't make it what it is. For instance, the Honorable Fred Mitchell is on the TV or in the papers always talking about gay equality, which is nonsense because we're supposed to be a Christian nation. But how could you want equality for the gays when you are obliterating the middle class? But your priority is equality for the gays. But, you know, that's him. That's his priority. That's his people. That's his method. I can't argue with him. He is what he is. He always has been. The only thing he didn't come out he didn't come out of the closet, but he is what he is. And it's our goal to put him back in the closet and put a lock on that son of a bitch and keep him locked up. Tell him, well, not now. In 20 years, check us again. But for the next 20 years, we're going to keep you locked up in this damn closet, you freak. But enough about Fred. Fred is a good guy. Fred is a fighter. A fighter for his kind, but he's a fighter nonetheless. Well, I'm going to be a fighter for my kind. And this is how we get it started. Drama King signing off. Thank you very much, and, well, a troll's a troll. Amen.